On this Monday episode of the Locked On Texans podcast, how much will the rookie class contribute? We'll talk about that. Coach DeMeco Ryans has some interesting words and just an overall feel, different vibe at rookie camp. We'll dive into all of that. Cody, start the show.
You are Locked On Texans, your daily podcast on the Houston Texans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, everybody, to this Monday episode of the Locked On Texans podcast. And part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's Monday. We made it to another week. And it'll be a good week, right? I'm your Texans football analyst, John, some sports guy, Hickman. On the other side of the screen, Texans credential media member, Sports Illustrated Song, one of the hardest working men in Houston sports media, Cody Davis. Thank you to all of our first-time guests. Come on in, sit down, get yourself something to drink. Thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe, like, and comment to the Locked On Texans podcast on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Thank you to all of our returning listeners coming back and lending your ear for another episode. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but y'all are listening to our show. We appreciate it. Cody, take it away.
And on this Monday installment of Locked On Texans, we will be talking about rookie mini camp, which, of course, as you guys know, the Houston Texans did have an opportunity to open up the camp over the weekend, but there was one veteran on Coach DeMeco Ryans' mind, and that was, of course, newly required wide receiver Ben Skowronek. He had an opportunity to share his thoughts as to why the Houston Texans traded for Ben. So, John, I just think it was real fun for us to just revisit a crazy theory you had, and I really want you guys to, just take a listen to what Coach DeMeco Ryans had to say about Ben. But, when you take a look at rookie minicamp, let's just jump right into it. John, when I walked inside NRG Stadium, well, the practice facility on Friday, man, that was one of the moments where I said this team is definitely not at the bottom of the barrel anymore. And I said that because over the last 2 years, rookie mini camp was basically like the Houston Texans Super Bowl, because you were literally looking at some of, if not the best prospects available in 2022 and 2023. No knock to the prospects that the Houston Texans came away with in 2024. I still believe that they had a really good draft class for this upcoming season. However, John, this was the first time where we're looking at majority, if not all of these prospects, and thinking to ourselves, they may not have a very vital or very important role to start off the season. And in the second segment, we're going to look at how much will the rookie class contribute in 2024. But to be honest with you, rookie minicamp was literally just a weekend for all of the rookies to learn who the Houston Texans are, learn the culture, learn what's expected to them, and most importantly, learn the terminology and playbook for their new organization.
Yeah, first day, we're excited to work with these young guys, young talented players we have, as rookies coming in. Excited to actually get on the grass with them. We're all excited about the draft and acquiring these guys. It's always exciting as coaches to get the opportunity to get out and actually put the guys through the drills you've been trying to teach them and seeing, the things that they've remembered through your sessions. So it's fun to see them moving around. This period or this phase here, the rookie mini camp, right? We're just trying to get our guys adapted to how we do things, right? Get them used to our terminology, what we're teaching. This is more of a teaching period for us. Again, as you guys saw, there are not a lot of long lines out there. So some position groups have one or two guys. So we're taking our time, doing a great job of teaching these guys so they are ready to roll with our veterans when they come back in on Monday.
John, when I tell you this vibe at rookie minicamp was just different over the weekend, man, it truly was. Because while I was standing there watching them, just go through their little mini drills and go through their, stretches and stuff, I just, of course, just kept thinking of 2023 and 2022, because that was the time, man, whether it was Derek Stingley Jr. touching the field for the very first time, Jalen Petrie touching the field for the very first time, Will Anderson or CJ Stroud touching the field for the very first time, man, they had those those guys doing a lot. However, like you guys just heard Coach DeMeco Ryans say, man, they just took Friday and Saturday and said, you know what? This is where you're supposed to come to check in. This is where we eat breakfast at, i.e. my favorite part of rookie camp was when we was talking to Blake Fisher. And Blake Fisher said that, you know, when he got into the facility, he was looking for the meeting room and ended up in the cafeteria. Then when he was looking for the cafeteria, he ended up in the training facility. So, you know, it's just certain things like that that they really let us know, like, look, this is only a teachable moment. However, the Coach DeMeco Ryans did mention in the next couple of weeks for voluntary OTAs, that's when the real work began for these rookies.
Yeah, I feel like, and Cody, stop me if I'm wrong. Again, you've been around the franchise in terms of just the training camps and the rookie mini camps. You've been around for the last couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. I do feel like on the outside looking in, to your credit, like last year's rookie mini camp, it was more exciting for the media side of it, right?
Oh, yeah, that too.
So this year, it kind of felt like just a regular, rookie mini camp, but it was kind of like an extension of, again, pre-draft meetings just come in. But this time, you guys are doing it for the team, Houston Texans, that you're playing for. I did find something interesting from DeMeco Ryans, who spoke over the weekend. He talked about the versatility of Kalen Bullock and Kamari Lassiter and them playing at one position. He said that we'll take it day by day, continued by saying, us as coaches, you know their versatility. You know what you've seen and what they can do on film, but you can't overload them. I love that. Continue with start them at one position and see how they handle it and what a guy can absorb. The more he can handle, the more we'll give him. I love that because when you look at the more versatile player, I think Kalen Bullock is probably the more versatile of the two. When you look at him and Kamari Lassiter, you know, he 2022, nearly 600 snaps deep, 150 in the box, 106 at slot. 2023, 249 at slot, 274 in the box, 320 back deep, right? 2021, 141 at the slot, 197 back deep, 88 in the box, 43 at corner. So, I mean, you look at the versatility that he brings as a DB, and I forgot who mentioned it, but somebody said we should not classify him as a safety, just an overall DB. Yeah. So you look at his versatility, and one may think to yourself, well, are they going to have him full-time at safety, or they're going to move him around a little bit? Even with Kamari Lassiter, I think the conversation surrounding that young man right now is, well, is he outside or inside? What are you going to do? Is he going to be here to compete with maybe some of Jalen Petrie snaps? I saw that as well. And I think a lot of it has to do with how good both Jeff Okudah and CJ Henderson plays once we get to the training camp period. But I think for both of those young men, again, this isn't Derek Stingley, right, who was a highly regarded number one cornerback in the 2022 draft class, which was loaded with corners, by the way. But these are guys that I think Houston, when they first take those snaps, Houston wants to have them in a defined role, I believe so. And once, like you mentioned, once they can get them on the grass more and more often during training camp, and they go through the July part of the training camp, and they go through preseason, and Houston can learn about some of their tendencies while now playing at the NFL level, I think we'll see Houston try different things. But I think mainly with Kalen Bullock, the safety out of USC, and I really like what he can do on the football field, whether he's playing back deep or maybe closer around the line of scrimmage. He's an athlete. He has that range to cover. And I think he's a guy where you may look at him as that guy that can come in and influence both Jalen Petrie's role and Jimmy Ward's role right now, as they are classified as the two starters. I think he can influence both. You can get creative with him with Jimmy Ward on the field. I think you can really get creative with him and Jalen Petrie on the field, depending on what version of Jalen Petrie Houston gets. So I like that they talked about the versatility of the two young men. Again, I like Bullock's versatility a little bit more. I think when you look at Kamari Lassiter, he's going to be limited to whether it's going to be inside or outside cornerback. But getting those young guys in now and giving them an opportunity to grow and learn is highly important, and I'm glad DeMeco Ryans addressed that. Passion, drive, and patience. That's the winning formula that drives your ride or die. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guarantee Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to this Monday installment of Locked On Texans, as John and myself continue to recap some of the top takeaways from rookie minicamp, John. And, you know, once again, as I stood there and I'm looking at the 2024, first year prospects taking the field for the Houston Texans for the very first time and listening to everything that Coach DeMeco Ryans had to say, John, that little part that you just read from what he said about Kalen Bullock and Kamari Lassiter, my favorite part.
By the way, I do want to mention, I hate to cut you off. My apologies.
No, you good.
Lassiter said, I play football. So it don't matter where he goes. He plays football.
Oh, by the way, I can already tell Kamari is going to be one of my favorite people to talk to on and off record for this upcoming season, by the way. But, one of my favorite things that Coach DeMeco Ryans said when he was asked about Kamari and when he asked about Kayla was the fact that he said he just want to see how much that they can handle. And he doesn't want to put these young prospects in a situation where you're just giving them like too much information. I know I'm paraphrasing right there. But John right there told me that they're going to make sure that they take their time with this draft class. And that's a good thing because, as I mentioned, looking back at the 2022 rookie minicamp, 2023 rookie minicamp, they had those guys doing a lot, and rightfully so, because the foundation wasn't established. A lot of these prospects, whether there was the number 2, number 3 picks, whether there was first round, second, third, fourth, fifth, a lot of these prospects that they brought in through those first 2 years, majority, if not all of them, came in as arguably day one starters. Like, there was a lot had to go wrong in order for CJ not to start day one. There was a lot that needed to go wrong in order for Jalen Petrie and Derek Stingley and Will Anderson Jr. not to start in day one. This year, these prospects would not have to worry about that. I had an opportunity to ask Coach DeMeco Ryans, when do you know a prospect is ready to start and when they are ready to have more responsibility added to their plate?
The last 2 years, this team relied heavily upon rookies, basically starting from week 1. As a coach, what are some of the intangibles that you are looking for to let you know, okay, this rookie is ready for a heavy load so far?
For me, with the rookies and the things that allow me to see when they're ready to go, it's you see through training camp. You see through those grueling days of training camp. You see, how much they can handle. You see how mentally strong those guys are in training camp, right? Are they continue to progress? Some guys stick out better than the vets, and it's just each guy on an individual basis. You see what they can handle. You see them go out and still play well while handling the things that they're thinking about that we just covered in the classroom. They can go apply it, and the guys who can apply it quickly without wavering, those guys seem to always rise to the top, and it's very noticeable. And that's what I love about ball is whether you're a rookie, vet, like everything to me is always about competition, because I see competition always forces everyone around you to get better. So the more competition we have, right, the better our team will be.
Right there, I knew right off the bat that these first-year prospects, they would not be handed a starting role come week 1. They're going to have to compete for it. And I understand. We heard DeMeco Ryans say last year that CJ had to beat out Davis Mills, that Will Anderson Jr. had to beat out. We already knew they were starting come week 1. But, like I say, John, everything that Coach DeMeco Ryans said this year, just looking at these guys, just go through more so the motions, not really a full-fledged practice, not going through the drill in its entirety. just watching them just go through the motions and just learning everything lets me know that they're definitely going to take their time with this first year class, which is a good thing, by the way, because it's just another moment that shows you that the Houston Texans are A, no longer at the bottom of the barrel, and B, like I've been saying this whole entire offseason, man, I don't want to say the patience for the younger guys will be a little bit thin because they're actually playing and competing for something big now. But I don't think that this rookie class, maybe with the exception of Kamari Lassiter, because I really do believe that he really has an opportunity to start opposite of Derek Stingley Jr. But outside of him, I really would not be surprised if we are 4 or 5 weeks into the regular season and the only rookie prospects who is playing a vital role is Lassiter and maybe Caleb Bullock. And I know that's early to say right now, but this team is a veteran-made team competing for something now. Right. This isn't a team that's, we're just going to throw these prospects out on the field, hope they could be foundational pieces, and with the other guys, you hope that they could pan out and turn into something special down the road.
Well, and I think when you look at the rookie class, right, and that question of how much will they contribute, if you look at them, their position, they got guys that's making big money in front of them already.
I.e. Blake Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher. Have you heard that song, Fisher?
Yeah.
And an attitude. Okay, back to it. But Blake Fisher's a guy. Cade Stover's a guy. Dalton Schultz just got paid, right? We know that both Titus Howard, whether you want to play left or right, both Titus Howard, who helped this team acquire Stephon Diggs by restructuring his contract, Laramie Tunsil on the other side, they got the bag, right? When you look at Jawar Jordan, right?
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be a sneaky pick at the end of the year. We're like, man, what's one of these rookie, guys contributed the most? Jawar Jordan, if we put a poll up, he'll be one of those sneaky guys that get some of those votes, right? But the trade for Joe Mixon and contract extension for 3 years. So I think that's what we really got to look at, right? A lot of people thought this rookie class was quote unquote boring, right? But that's the price you pay when you have a very good team and those pieces are set up. One thing that gets everybody going in the NFL, I'm a victim of this twice in the past 4 years, right? We got a new quarterback. Right? You got CJ, and he is definitely worth the excitement, right? While he's on his world tour doing what he does. You got Nico. You got Tank from last year who's coming back, and of course, nursing an injury, getting better and better. You traded for Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, the things that you've done like that. So Houston has put together a damn good roster at the top. And last year, excitement came from the rookies. The year before that, a bad season, but as much as we got on him last year, Jalen Petrie was a highlight of the 2022 NFL season.
5 picks.
5 picks. I think led the team in tackles, right? A couple of forced fumbles. As much as we got on him during his sophomore year, his rookie year, Dameon Pierce was a highlight for the team, a huge reason why fans may have still wanted to tune in or go to the games. So on both sides of the ball, you're looking at 2 guys that came in and they had to contribute early on because there was nobody really in front of them to take their spotlight away. So they contributed well in 2022. Derek Stingley got his first pick that year against the Jags. A great play, might I add, if you guys remember what I'm talking about.
I remember that.
This year, I think is a little bit special and different because guys are already paid and taken care of. And again, one thing I've talked about since the moment DeMeco Ryans has got here and he brought in Bobby Slowick and put together this coaching staff, you look at guys like a Blake Fisher, you look at a Kamari Lassiter, you look at a Bullock, a Jawar Jordan, a Cade Stover, you look at a Marcus Harris, right? You look at some of these Solomon Byrd, again, another player that they drafted by all means late, but Danielle Hunter's in front of him. He just got paid by Houston. Will Anderson's on the other side, who just got drafted last year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's exciting to see what these guys will be in a couple of years, right? You look down the line, 2 or 3 years, okay, how much is Joe Mixon contributing to this team at that point? Same for Dalton Schultz. After 2 years, Danielle Hunter can walk, right? After 1 year, Jeff Okudah can walk. CJ Henderson can walk if they make the team. Got training camp. They're going to cut down some guys. And after this year, if he makes the team, Jimmy Ward can walk. You got Bullock. That's what makes this rookie class, I think, so special. That just increases the longevity of your success. Hey guys, it's winner take all season in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home the big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 in your pocket or to use to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Before moving on and talking about Ben Skowronek, John, really quick, I do want to point this out because this is what excites me the most about this rookie class. I love the fact that the Texans are giving him a real opportunity to learn the game from afar, at least in their rookie season. And I think that's going to be very beneficial because now when you start looking at guys like a Kamari Lassiter or Blake Fisher or whoever the case might be, these are going to be the guys, you know, at the start of next season, we're definitely going to be looking at them like, okay, it's really time for you to perform, whether it be due to a lack of production from a certain player or injuries or just a certain player, you know, not being here with the organization anymore. I do believe that this group of players, they're really going to be more beneficial in the future versus now. And this is going to be the group of players that's definitely going to be relied upon because you're going to have people like Derek Stingley on their next contract, CJ Stroud on their next contract, Will on their next contract, Tank on their next contract. Like this, I just love that what the Houston Texans have done throughout this whole entire draft season. They brought in some very good prospects, and throughout this whole entire year, yes, they're going to touch the field and actually play a minor role at majority of these positions. But I'm looking at these guys for the future because then that's when you're really also looking at the Texans being true contenders in the NFL and hopefully defending champions, back-to-back champions. You never know.
They got a shot. They got a shot. And that rookie class gives them a shot to get there. It extends their window, man. I really do think so. And you look at some of the guys, again, like the point I made in the second segment, some of the guys that are on the roster right now, whether they're under a multi-year deal or maybe a one-year deal, they may not work out for Houston. This does give Houston an opportunity to see what they have in these young guys while also not jeopardizing the success, too much of the success this season because they're not, again, like Cody, you mentioned, heavily relied on. But more on Ben Skowronek before we close out today's show.
Yeah, man, that was the one veteran that was on Coach DeMeco Ryans' mind, and this is what he had to say about the Houston Texans' newly acquired wide receiver.
Yeah, with the trade there, we're excited to add more depth to our wide receiver position and more competition. Ben is a tough player. Played against him a couple times, and he's a true competitor. Plays the game the right way. So excited to add, his physicality, his playmaking ability to our team.
I know you really love that physicality part, don't you, John? But look, as I said last week when we talked about the acquisition of Ben Skowronek, I'm not expecting him to play a big role. I do believe he's going to be more so on special teams. I understand that he has versatility. I believe that the Houston Texans will utilize him more so in the blocking game. I was looking at his numbers at Pro Football Focus. He is a solid blocker, but once again, I just see him more as a special team player. I don't see him being utilized as a tight end, John. I'm sorry, because I feel like that position, it's set at this point, man. They're definitely going to carry 3 tight ends. Dalton Schultz going to be number 1. You got Brevin Jordan at 2. Then you're going to have Cade Stover at 3. And if anything happens to one of those 2 players, you're going to have Cade Stover coming in. So
right.
If anything, like I mentioned, I just think Ben Skowronek, when you look at the competition on who he could potentially challenge throughout voluntary OTAs, mandatory OTAs, and of course training camp if he's still here, which I'm pretty sure he still be here. You know, I just take a look at, you know, the back half of that wide receiver position group, like a Johnny Johnson III, like a Jared Wayne, you know, guys, I'm pretty sure you guys might not. Yeah, it's Sims. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys may not be familiar with those names, but those were the guys who actually helped the Houston Texans have one of the best special teams units in the league. And when you take a look at Ben Skowronek, I definitely believe that's who he's going to challenge. I don't see him challenging, of course, nobody in the big three. And I know I saw some people, this is the end for John Mechie, this is the end for Xavier Hutchinson. No, it's not. No, it's not. Ridiculous. This has nothing to do with them. But I'm very interested to see. I think in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, we will start voluntary OTAs. I'm pretty sure Ben is going to be here. I can't wait to see, you know, what Ben has up his sleeve. But hey, special teams.
Well, I know one thing. In order for Ben to make this roster, he better get accustomed to this Houston Heat, because it ain't like Cali. Whew. It ain't like the LA Rams, man. It's a little bit hotter down here. There ain't no palm trees for the shade. Thank y'all for listening to the Locked On Texans podcast. Please subscribe, like, and comment to the podcast on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, do me a favor and follow me on Twitter at John_Hickman12. I should probably start calling it X now, but
might as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all used to it. By the way, you're talking about that Houston Heat, Kamari Lassiter, who played in Georgia. He said before taking the practice field, he checked his phone. He saw it was 80 degrees. He said he walked out there, and after the first stretch, he said, "This not 80. This does not feel like 80." He said it feel like 90 or hotter. So yeah, the worst part about it, it's just going to get hotter. But as always, I'm your host, Cody M. Davis. Please remember to follow me on Twitter at CodyDavis_24. Once again, that's Cody COTYDAVIS_24. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.